Hi Sagittarius, this is Kacee with your messages from heaven. I'm recording this November 2019. However, it is a timeless reading, so whenever you find it, it's basically when you're supposed to be hearing the messages. If you're interested in this reading, that means that you are interested in getting more knowledge or learning how to communicate with the other side, finding out what life after death really means. Our loved ones that have crossed over, really watching out for us. Are they really there for us? And in my opinion, yes, they are. I've had a lot of experiences with people that have crossed over, some that were family members and some were just kind of like wave at your neighbors, and it's been very intense for me on this journey. I've seen them in my sleep. I've seen them in my waking hours. I've felt them. I smell perfume. I smell cigarette smoke. Favorite songs on the radio. That's all indicating a particular spirit that's trying to communicate. Please remember that when they try to communicate with you, it takes a lot, and I mean a lot of energy for them to break through the veil to get to us. So we have to be open to every little thing, and it may seem insignificant to us, but it's taking a lot of energy from their side in order for them to show us this sign or symbol. So the first card I'm going to pull is going to be your spirit messages. Okay, Sag, let's see what we have. We have synchronicity. Okay, and this card reads, are you noticing the signs of synchronicity that the spirit world has been sending to you at this time? People and situations in your life are just not appearing by coincidence. In reality, they're being guided to you from the spirit world to help you for a specific reason. Sorry. And like I had mentioned, it takes a lot of energy for them to do that. So sometimes they do give you little signs, feathers, pennies, scents, emotions, whatever they can muster up to send to you. Sometimes they work through different people, and if you're not open or you're not recognizing the signs or the synchronicities, they may use someone that is more open to say something to you or show you something that they've been trying to get through to you for a little bit of time. I know specifically that I kept having a reoccurring dream about my grandfather, and it was night after night after night, and I was exhausted. I'm going to tell you the truth. They were very beautiful dreams. They were very intense, but when I have those dreams, I am very, very tired. And my kids were young, and I was a single mom, and I had to be all over the place all the time taking care of them until I got to my family member, and I was like, what is going on? Come to find out, they were holding back some information, and I was like, for the love of everything holy, will you please open yourself up, because Grandpa wants to talk to you. Papa has something to say. And as soon as I had that conversation with that family member, the dream stopped. So my message was delivered, and that is what he was trying to get to me. Sacral Chakra is very interesting in this because they're asking you to be creative with interpreting their messages. It's not going to come on a newsreel, and it's not going to make sense every time that you encounter their messages. It's kind of like a puzzle, and because they can only give you what they can give you at this time, you have to kind of put it together. Again, that same grandfather, I ended up talking about him one day, and then I looked at the calendar and I realized it was the day he had passed. So I didn't get like any super message from him or any feeling or smell. It's just, I just started talking about a story that involved my grandfather, and then it happened to be his passing date. And I was like, oh, well, there's my grandfather coming through, letting me know he's okay. It could be just simple things like that. So be creative in how you interpret the messages, how the synchronicities fit in. It could be very, very subtle, but it will give you that connection to the other side. Everybody can speak to their loved ones. Their loved ones hear them all the time, but it's being very open to listening to the messages as they come through. So please try to do that. And let's go ahead with your soul journey message. So your soul journey message is believe. The force that works through your soul, determining what's possible or impossible. The difference between success over failure, and above all, who you are, is the power of your belief. Believe in the messages, guys. If you think this is from grandma or grandpa or your sibling or your parents, it is. If you believe it and it is following the synchronicities, it's like, you know, close to their birthday or their death date or an important day for you, and you feel them around you, or you see something, or a song comes on the radio, or the announcer on the news says their name in an article, know that that's them, okay? Believe it, know it, feel it, appreciate it, thank them for coming through to you when you need them to, you know. Speaking out loud, saying it in prayer silently, however you do it, there's no wrong way. But the more you speak it out loud and you let them know that you're recognizing it, that you can hear them, you can feel their presence, the easier it is for them to come through. If we don't believe it's them, if we kind of block it out and be, oh, that's just a coincidence, this, that, and the other, it's going to be harder for them to kind of come through to you because you're building up a wall. So we got to take down that wall. We have to be open to the messages. We have to believe it's from our family members. You know, you can always ask them to come through to you. You know, it's a little bit more daunting when we do that because we have high expectations. So please keep that in mind. I used to keep a dream journal. I haven't written it for a while, but I do have a dream journal for the most important dreams that I have for people that have crossed over. And I go and reflect upon it every once in a while and see if I can learn something new from that dream. You know, even though I'm evolving and I'm trying to be open, it's always good to look at the images that you had in that dream and see if you can piece new information together. Okay, so your angel message is Isaiah, and it reads, "It's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations in your life. I am watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you during these changes." That is a beautiful message to know that as you're reaching out to the spirit world, as you're trying to connect with the family members from the other side, you are protected. You're not going to open up any portals that can bring anything bad in there because you're going to ask for protection. You're going to say, hey, I want to speak to my grandmother. I want to speak to my wife. I want to speak to my child, and be open to that communication. You know, it would be nice if we were all like, you know, mediums, and it comes to us every single moment of every single day when we want to tune in. However, that has its downside as well, because then you have to learn to shut them off. And that is a very intense energy to do that. We have to be on their frequency to hear them very clearly, so keep your mind clear, not so much clutter. That's why I get a lot of my messages in my dreams, because I am always going a million miles a minute in my head. And when I'm sleeping, then they have the opportunity to come in and, you know, because I'm not dwelling over my work situations or my family situations or whatever it is that's coming up for me, I'm able to open up and have a clean slate. Love is your oracle message, Sag, and this is beautiful because everything is love on the other side. You know, when you connect with your family members, you know, you do it out of love. You know, you do your protection no matter what you do, okay? Whether you're reading tarot or the newspaper, it doesn't matter. Make sure that you're surrounded with white light. Make sure that you are doing it for the highest good, and you're looking for the love and the peace and the serenity from the messages. And know that the people from the other side, all they have is love for you. That love does not stop just because they've crossed over and there's a veil in between us. They can still see us, hear us, feel us. They come visit all the time. And speaking of time, their time is different than ours. We go by a clock. They do not. It is very fluid over there. So 5 minutes to us, you know, it could be a very long time, but it means nothing to them, okay? So keep that in mind. So if you've had someone that's crossed over, say 10 years ago, it's like 2 seconds for them. It's like they haven't missed a beat. So know that they are still with us, that they're still watching over us and protecting us. Our ancestors are always involved in what we're doing because they laid the groundwork for us to keep moving and to keep expanding and to keep growing. So keep that in mind when you're opening yourself up and you're believing in the synchronicities and you're believing in the things that you see, smell, touch that are reminding you of that person. That's their way of coming through. Sagittarius, thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I hope the message helps. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you want and let me know how you're doing. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. I would love to have you back. Take care.